Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today we're doing Kesubos Kuf Beis 102. The Gemara talks about a couple different cases, which are not full-blown cases of Milva Bishtar. Milva Bishtar is, right, I borrow money from somebody, and to aid them sign on the star. And really, Nikim Staros, right, they have to come from a base and verify the Adam if you want to collect that it was the right Adam that collected that sign on the star. So Milva Star, you collect from the Chasam Mishubadim. You can collect from all your property has a lien on it. Even if you sell your property after you borrow the money, the creditor can collect from that property. Whether Shibud is alright or Shibud is Rabbanan, that's a discussion at the end of Maseches Bava Batra. But a Milva al Peh, right, where I just verbally agree to someone, right, and there's Adam that saw me giving money to somebody else, I can't collect. There's no shibud. A star, I'm going to explain it now a little better. A star, by karkos, by land, right? When I lend money to somebody, however, there's Adam there. There's Adam testifying that I borrowed money from somebody. So there's a shibud on me for the value of the money. The actual coins itself, the goof of the money, is gone. You gave it to the person to spend. He has a responsibility to pay back the value, only the value, the reshuso, only the value he owns. But you don't own the goof. You don't own the goof of the money. The goof of the money is gone. So, therefore, you don't own that. How about a star? The interesting thing about a star, since it's a written document and it's signed by Adam, it's verified by Adam. So the star actually, when I hold a star, a loan document that someone owns me money, basically the star is representative of a physical thing. It's representative of land. It's like holding on, right? I lent money to somebody else. Now the money is gone, but he gave me a star. The star is in place of karkos. I explained this a couple of times. The star is like the goof of the land. So you own the land. So if he sells the land, the borrower sells the land in the interim after they made the loan, right? I own that star. I own that land. That's why I can collect. That's why shibuda, the rice or the rabbanon, the shibuda. I have a shibud on the land. That's the whole point of a star. Why a star is successful in doing that, versus a milva al peh. The Gemara here brings a case. The Gemara says Rav Gidal Marav's case, introduces a case which is interesting, right? Basically, I don't know if you call it a prenuptial agreement, but it's talking about a case where everyone's very excited. They're getting married, so the fathers of the groom and the bride, they're before the kiddushin, they say they're going to donate various things, furniture, pay for the rent, give them an apartment, give them a yacht, So and then they do kiddushin. So that's kone ba'amira ba'alma. The Gemara says, even through amira, just saying it, and obviously if you want to collect on them, you have to have eidim that were present and saw the amira. But the amira itself makes the kinyan, makes the chiyuv. The Gemara asks, nitin likasev lo nisnan likasev. We paskin lo nisnan likasev. You can't write it down, which basically means there's no shibud, right? I can collect from Bnei Chorin, even though, right, if the person owns me a yacht, right, I can collect from Bnei Chorin, I can collect from his watch collection, but I can't collect from his real estate if he sold it, right? If the real estate is here, he didn't sell it yet, then I can collect. If it's gone, I can't collect because I don't have a star. You cannot necessarily cause it. It doesn't have the authority of a star. You can't write it down. There's no shibud over here. What about the case where the Gemara gets into this whole discussion, which is really quoted at the beginning of Kuf Aleph Beis, Rabbi Yochanan Ishtagshah Machlokes. Basically, the Gemara concludes Machlokes is about an IOU, right? Where basically I write on a star, and there are Adam that saw, there are bystanders that saw that I wrote on the star that I owe you money. There's no chasimas Adam. Adam don't sign on the star, so it's not a regular star. It's an IOU. An IOU, ksav yado, that I owe you money. So what about that? Does that have the power to collect from the Chasim Shubadim, or only from the Chasim Bnei Chorin? On the one hand, it's written in the star. So the star, usually we say, it's like you own the person's property. On the other hand, right, there's no chasima over here. There's no chasidas. Maybe you don't own the property. So what makes the shar effective to make the guf hakarka belong to you, in which case, if he sells it, I have a lien on that property. Is it the actual writing of the IOU? According to Rabbi Yochanan, it is Kona. So I think it's clear from the Gemara that the Gemara says, right, our mission is talking about where he promises to give sustenance to his stepdaughter for 5 years. And the Gemara says, no, it's talking about Shari Psiksa. It's talking about Shari Psiksa. Now, it's talking about Shari Psiksa. So, originally the Gemara is saying it's talking about Shari Psiksa. Shari Psiksa, the Gemara says at the end, right? Lo nisnali kasev. So, it would seemingly have the same validity of Shari Psiksa, which you cannot collect from Mishub Badim. However, at the end of the Gemara, end of Kuf Beis and Beis, concludes that really our Gemara is talking about, it's not just talking about Shari Psiksa, it's talking about, they actually made there was a Mira. However, they made a Kinyan. We didn't know that. Our Mishnah was talking about also they made a Kinyan. And that's why it says Kabbalas Chov. It's right, you can nisnali cost, if you can write it down. Because they made a Kinyan Chalipin, so it wasn't just a Mira. Yes, if it was just a Mira, it would have been fine, but lo nisnali cost it. Because they did a Kinyan Chalipin, and so that's what we're talking about. So, and the Gemara in Bava Basra says, you make a Kinyan Chalipin, so you can write a star, right, basically collecting the Chas Mishub Badim, right? Kinyan Chalipin has the validity of making a Kinyan that I owe you that money, and therefore I can write a star collecting the Chas Mishub Badim. So it seems from the end of the Gemara, if that's what a Mishnah is talking about, so therefore that would be comparable to the case Rei Yochanan Eish Lakish, right? So Rei Yochanan would say maybe you could collect from Chas Mishub Badim. I don't know the answer to this question. I'm not sure. Do we say, the Mishnah is talking about something else. It's not talking about an IOU. It's talking about a case where there was a Kinyan Chalipin, right? It wasn't just writing a shtar. Writing an IOU is not a Kinyan Chalipin. Kinyan Chalipin is stronger. I'd like to say the Gemara doesn't revert back to the statement of Rei Yochanan Eish Lakish that basically Rei Yochanan Eish Lakish is only relevant when we're comparing it with Hein Dvarim Nikna and Ba'amira. Or the Gemara compared it to Pidyon Aben. You're a star that I owe you 5 slime to the Kohen. So the Gemara says that's different. That's Shuba D'Oraisa. Right? I have a Shiba on my goof, right, to pay off that chov, to buy my son back. Right? So therefore there's a lien on your property. So the Torah says a mitzvah to put to your son. I owe him the Kohen that money to put in the son. However, an IOU does not have, and I think that's really what it is, because the reason that a star with Eidim, and that's why you need Kiyum Shtaros also, you have to verify the Eidim, is because writing a star, a written document, an IOU, although you could collect, because let's say it's 80% proof, right? You need Eidim also to make 100% proof, because what creates a lien on someone else's property is, basically 100% proof, because, fine, the fact that I can collect from you, so that's 80% proof, but then I can collect from a third person, so that's diluted already, right? I'm collecting from you through another person. That's diluted already. That's collecting. Talk about Rav Nassan. Rav Nassan says, right, if you lend money to one person and he lends to another person, you can collect from the third person. Nassan the Shamla, Rav Nassan says that's a chiyuv you can collect. Could you collect from the Chas Mishub Badim? Maybe not. You can't, because it's a diluted proof. However, so that's why you need Eidim, because that makes it 100% proof. So even though when it comes to the third person, it's diluted a little bit, but at least you have 80% proof. So you can collect from the third person 80% proof. But if your proof is only an IOU to collect from him, so then when it comes to the person who bought the property from him, right, which you're collecting the lien on the property, that's already diluted. Lien is less of a connection. So therefore, it's not even 80% proof, which is a requisite in order to be multi the land. Therefore diluted. It's not diluted. The chasimas eidim in combination, in conjunction with the written shtar, is what allows you to collect from Chas Mishub Badim. And if you try an IOU, even though Pasuk Rav Yochanan, it's effective if eidim saw it, right? They were bystanders. However, you need the written eidim in the shtar in order to collect from the Chas Mishub Badim, because again it's a third party, it's diluted, and therefore you need the extra proof. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.